Hey guys, I have a huge video in the works as of right now, and it's taking a lot longer than I anticipated to script that. But I'm working as hard as I can to get that done and out. Like I said in the update video, I want to start work on bigger projects, and this is me doing that. In the meantime, however, I don't want to leave you guys completely high and dry without any content, so until that big video is out, I'm going to be writing a few smaller videos on the side. But before I do any of that, I really wanted to remake this video. I made it originally to get something out during the quarantine, as it became a lot harder for me to make content, and I really wanted to keep this channel going. But since then, I've gotten a hold of some better editing software, I've gotten a much better microphone, and the Isle of Armor is out, so I can update the script to be a little bit more current. I really didn't like that video as it was rushed and it kind of makes me cringe when I look back on it, but I loved the points I made. Pokemon is heading into a future that has divided fans recently, and while I'm hopeful that the future games in the mainline turn out to be good, I still think the series needs a few things to succeed. Or at the very least, they need these things to keep the hardcore player base entertained. Here's 4 of them. Number 1, voice acting. Game Freak, it's been over 20 years. Why do you still not have this for your Nintendo Switch game? There are so many scenes in Sword and Shield that would have been really cool with voice acting, but just come off as lame. Like certain scenes where the characters will just flap their lips as if they expect the devs to put in voices. And the fact that there isn't any is just really awkward and unsettling. Perhaps the best example is in the 7th gym leader fight with Pierce. There's this part where he's putting on a show for his team. This dude is supposed to be singing, and yet there are no lyrics or vocals of any kind accompanying this scene. Only cheering. This scene is really stupid, and if they recorded a song for it, it could have been so much cooler. Maybe they could have even sung the song from the trailer, or maybe recorded like a punk rendition of it to fit his motif. I'm just really sad that that song never got used in the main game, and I really wish it would have. It's a great song, and I'm sad that we don't see it in game. There doesn't even have to be it for the entire game, but the scenes that need it should at least have it. Number 2, more post-game / extra content. Guys, I gotta be honest with you. The post-game in Sword and Shield is perhaps one of the most boring things I've ever had to sit through. I didn't care about the story enough to really get invested in any of these characters aside from like a few of them, and while I'm glad that my boy Bede got the conclusion to his arc that he needs, everything else is just so boring. The main problem is the fact that ever since X and Y, they've opted for post-game mini-stories instead of new areas to explore. Could I be honest? I never liked these. I never actually finished the Looker missions in X and Y. I just don't think the story is good enough to be an incentive, especially when what I have to do is explore Lumiose. And oh my god, Lumiose. Sun and Moon's Ultra Beast hunting wasn't much better. It was tedious and slow and felt lazily tacked on to the base game of Sun and Moon. Honestly, the worst part of these is the fact that before you can actually get to the next section, you have to mash through this wall of text. I'm gonna level with you. I've always been a gameplay over story guy. There are certain times where I do play the game more for the story, like Metal Gear Solid 2 or Final Fantasy VII Remake, but those are few and far between. And Pokemon is definitely not one of them. Which brings me to Sword and Shield. My absolute god, this is terrible. You go through all of the game's major towns and do raid battles, and your reward for this is getting to hear the characters talk. Endlessly. Wait, this is a reward? Guys, I didn't like the story as is. It was really intrusive and kept me from doing the thing I wanted to do most. Explore. Actually, the real reward is Zacian or Zamazenta, but my point still stands. Instead of being excited for seeing what's ahead, I'm dreading it. I do like Team Rainbow Rocket, though. They can stay. Compare this postgame to something like Diamond and Pearl. Now, Diamond and Pearl had an entire section of the map that you unlocked once you finished the game. This is a problem that could be its own video, and believe me, it will. But Pokemon, at least the main series, has lost its sense of adventure. Name one part of the Galar map that you discover on your own without the game telling you that it's there. There are no caves that the player finds on their own outside of the Isle of Armor, which is DLC. Are no secret areas, no extra forests. Hell, there's no freaking dungeons. You know what one of the best parts of the old Pokemon games were? Discovering the cave where a powerful legendary Pokemon resides, one that the game tells you nothing about. That's right, you had to find that Pokemon on your own. It rewarded your sense of discovery and exploration. The game didn't lead you down a path and at the end of it you'd find a powerful Pokemon. You found that cave by exploring the areas that the game gives you. You found that legendary Pokemon by trekking through the dungeon, where you have no idea what's ahead. You discovered the rare Pokemon along the way, you solved the puzzles to get there, and you protected your team from that one hit, that one last hit that sent you back to the Pokemon Center. The worst examples of this has to be the Tapus from Sun and Moon in the Ultra games, where instead of doing all of that, you just get them. That's all. You just walk in and catch them. They're touted as legendary guardians of their respective islands, the ones who watch over and keep the islands safe, yet they're one of the worst and most boring parts of their actual games. The sad part is this could have been really cool. It could have been a trial where you go through battles to prove your worth to them, or maybe solve some tough puzzles. Maybe there could have even been a dungeon. But no, you just fight them. You just walk in and fight them. I mean, seriously, could we stop getting this and get more of this? That's all I'm asking. Number 3, more time. In the wake of all this news for the series, there is one thing that I'm really glad about. No new main series Pokemon game for 2020. Why am I happy about this, you ask? Well, because I honestly like the fact that they're making Sword and Shield better. I like that they're going back to work on this game and adding new stuff. For the longest time, these Pokemon games have been yearly, and I hope that stops. The reason is that Pokemon has shown interest in the players that play this game competitively. They're trying to make a fun and balanced meta that could be enjoyed by the people who battle online. It's what they put the most effort into, which is why the main story is so lacking. Pokemon is standing at a divide and it thinks it has to choose between catering to its more casual players or catering to the competitive crowd. But what if I told you there's a third option? One that allows them to do both. That option being not releasing a game every year and focus on fine-tuning both aspects. Pokemon is a very unique series as it's really the only one that has this much of a divide between its casual and its competitive crowd. And finally, Pokemon needs a hard mode. Like the divide between its more casual and competitive crowd, there's also a divide between the older fans, the people who have been playing since Red and Blue, or the newer fans, like the ones who started with Sword and Shield or Sun and Moon. One of my biggest complaints I hear about the modern Pokemon games is that they're too easy. The best way to fix this, in my opinion, is to add a difficulty selection when you start the game. That way, new players can still play the game on an easier difficulty, while veterans get a game that challenges them. It's a win-win. You could even make the difficulty toggleable from the main menu. The harder difficulty can have higher level Pokemon, maybe trainers that switch out their Pokemon to better fight yours. There are so many possibilities, and I honestly wish they would have went all in with the harder difficulty selection from Black and White 2, but put that at the start of the game rather than at the end of it. I agree with the people who say Pokemon has gotten too easy. In the main storyline of Pokemon Shield, I never once whited out as my Pokemon were really overleveled. And by the time I got to Leon, I was so overprepared that I was able to beat his Charizard with my Gmax Eevee. This game is so hard to be underprepared with. It's so hard to actually lose in this game. And if you're trying it all and your team has moves that can cover the types that are weak to it, it's over. It's you've won already. Anyways, that'll do it for this video. If you like the video, you know what to do, and comment below telling me your thoughts on the video. Is there more you want to discuss? What do you think of the topics that I brought up? And is there anything else that you think that Pokemon could add to its mainline games to make them better? Let me know in the comments below, and maybe you might inspire a future video of mine. But for now, that'll be it. I'll see you guys later.